Well, you did it. We hit another milestone. We have hit 400 subscribers, which is just awesome. Any improvement is a good improvement. But I know one of you out there saw that $3.99 and just had to make it even, and well, thank you. But welcome to BuildBoostDrive, where we kind of have an update video and a little bit of a story time. Some quick updates. Things are moving along. We're getting ready to work on the head and the 46.4 engine. I'm starting to get the parts and everything set up, and the idea of what I'm doing all put together, get everything right the first time. And we've also got some camera improvements. I've gone ahead, and of course we always had the GoPro 5, which has been a lot of fun to shoot with, get some good shots. But now we got two GoPros, a GoPro 8, and I'm excited to play around with that, you know, non-gimbal needing, you know, stabilization that's built into it. So I'm looking forward to having some fun shots with that and seeing what I can do with it, play around with it. But of course, this is story time about Pikes Peak. So a couple years ago, if you've been following the channel, I had talked about that we were going out to Pikes Peak to watch the International Hillclimb. I can't remember which one it was, if it was the 94th running or the 96th running. Can't remember off the top of my head. But we had talked about doing it at some point. It's just one of those bucket list things that I've always wanted to do. And I told Chris about it, and then from there we just set up the plan. Just waiting for it to come up and travel out there. Oh, I was just getting hyped up for it. But the time just finally came around, and so just four dudes loaded up into a truck, just me, Chris, Cliff, and Matt, and it was a long drive, which wasn't the most comfortable ride, but just being able to take a trip across the US with your buddies, there's just no other experience like that, and it was just fun. So day one, we showed up in Colorado Springs. We got there real early in the morning, so we stopped at a place that me and my family have liked to eat when we go out there, which is the Over Easy restaurants that they have out there. It's just crazy pancakes and just good food. And then we got set up at our lodging, which was at the Lone Duck, I believe, the Lone Duck Lodge, I believe it's called, or RV Park, one of those. But it's a comfortable place. I've been there twice now, but you definitely have to plan ahead before the Pikes Peak Hill Climb, or you're going to run out of places to stay. But we got set up there, got all comfy. It was a nice, comfortable environment. And then we just decided on a whim, he's like, you know what, let's just go up to the peak, kind of scope out where we wanted to be for the next day. And so the Lone Duck is just about 10 minutes down the road from the entrance to Pikes Peak. So we headed up. We made sure to hit all the gift shops. We took a bunch of pictures. Cliff's love for the stuffed animals was quite concerning, but he takes photos well. He's enjoying the gift shop, and you know, wait until we couldn't breathe anymore from the low oxygen, and decided to head back down and find our spot, which is kind of on the last leg of the race area. It's like 3/4 of the way up the mountain, but it's a beautiful spot where when you look down you could just see a bunch of the turns and curves, because I mean, at the end of the day, the thing about Pikes Peak is the cars aren't coming back around like at a circle track, so you're only getting to see them once. And I wanted to at least try to get some good shots, because I was planning to make a good video, and I had ideas for great shots and all that, but when we finally got out there, it's like, you know what, I just want to take it easy, enjoy the time with my friends, and visit the gift shops. It just, you know, like I said, just take it easy. The day before the race, when you get down to the bottom where all the crews set up and get pitted, They get all their cars out. You can walk around, you can look at the cars, you can visit with not only the race crews, but the drivers themselves, and it's just an awesome experience to see all this old and new technology all together. So we were out there walking around, taking photos, taking video. It's also where we got our first look at the Volkswagen IDR, which of course broke the record that year. And we just happened to be there for it, so that was pretty cool. And it was just neat. It's definitely an experience to have. And then that night we decided to go out, eat something nice. So we went to downtown Colorado Springs, where Pikes Peak actually do a big thing downtown where they get some of the cars. I think there's even a mini parade that we had missed, but we saw some of the little float things that the locals had put together. And we ate at this nice Irish pub, and that was just awesome food all together. It was just a good night. Then headed back to the lodge, got some sleep. Well, I'd say we tried to get some sleep. It was about 9 or 10 o'clock where we tried to get in bed and try to get a nap in, because with Pikes Peak you want to get there at like 2, 3 in the morning. My mind's a little fuzzy because of how far back it was, but you get there real early, and luckily for us we were probably one of the first 20-30 cars there. But they line everybody up, you know, check tickets, and they don't open up at that point the track yet. So you're just sitting there in your car, and I think we were waiting an hour, maybe 2 hours, and they finally let you go up. And it's kind of a neat drive going up there when there's just a huge line of cars in front and behind you. So we drive up there and we get to our spot where we chose to be, which is like kind of the highest point since they instigated new rules as to where onlookers can set up and be. And so we went to the highest point thinking we'd get some of the better shots, especially with being able to look down and seeing all those curves, so we get more of the action per se. But we get there, pitch black, you can't see anything. And so we get out there on the side of the hill, try to set up all our stuff for the day, and then just light slowly just comes out of nowhere as the sun's starting to rise. And what may be just the coolest view I've ever seen is just a huge blanket of them just rolling across the landscape underneath you. And well, video says it all. So in the morning you're hanging out there waiting for the race to start. I can't remember, I think it started around 6 or 7. And what they do first is they send up all the bikes, and we had the first crash of the day that morning. Actually, I think it was about the only crash for this year, not including stuff that usually happens on testing days, practice days. But one of the, I think it was an electric bike, slid into a corner right below where we were, and I got some shots of it, and I think he may have hurt his arm and his ribs, but he came out of it okay, if memory serves. But after the bikes, then all the unique cars start coming up, and then I got a quick shot of the IDR as it was breaking its record. And the cool thing about that car is you can't see it. You can't hear it coming, but they installed a whistle so people knew it was coming. So it was it's kind of weird to see this car just come out of nowhere with next to no noise, just flying up this mountain at 100+ miles an hour. Just seeing it fly off, and I got a quick shot of it because I was just not ready on the camera at that point. wasn't long after the Specialized class of cars came through that it started getting cloudy. Clouds kept passing through, which would just destroy visibility. But not too long after that, you just heard one of the safety crew on the mountain yell, "Get to cover." Next thing you know, everybody's scrambling for the cars, leaving most of their stuff behind. And it just started hailing. The sky just fell.
Good weather most of Pikes Peak, the day of Pikes Peak, and then we get held on towards the end.
With this hail and hail. Can't even see
And
the cars out there.
we've missed the Mitsubishis.
It's like that.
The hail just didn't let up forever. But the unfortunate thing for this is that the race had to be put on hold. And then they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do. And so even though we were missing some of the cars coming up, so we missed like the street class, which was like the Evos and Subarus and stuff, which is one of the things I wanted to see. But we were up there for quite a few hours, of course, because until the race is over, they don't let you come down the mountain. So when you choose to go up that mountain, you're there for the long haul unless the race is just straight out canceled. But it finally came to the end. The hail kind of let up a bit. We were finally able to pick up our stuff and we headed back down the mountain, had a good night's sleep, and headed back to Arkansas. And that is my Pikes Peak experience. It was a good trip. It was definitely one thing I wanted off the bucket list. It was a great experience. I don't think I'd ever do it again. It was fun to see, but at the end of the day, other than maybe just hanging out with your buddies on a mountain all day, watching some cars go by, I mean, that's all you're getting out of it, is watching the cars go by. I think it'd be funner to see it from the helicopter's point of view, like the videos they put out every year. Other than that, it's worth doing once. That'll be today's video. Nice trip down the lost episode from Pikes Peak that I never set up. But like I said, we got some new cameras for shooting different kinds of video. We'll be working on the head of the engine soon. I want to get that knocked out as the engine gets prepped. And then of course we'll be prepping the engine. I gotta do some oiling mods and it's got to get honed. And I got to figure out if I kind of want to do it the garage way of self-honing or just send it down to a local machine shop nearby. And depending on what they say, I still got to order pistons. And then slowly getting set up. I sent a laptop down to Tyler along with new knock sensors so he can get the car up and going, because I'm not sure if maybe I'm gonna need to get it towed up here, fly down there, rent a truck, tow it, or hopefully drive it, which would make a nice fun video. But I want to say my appreciation again. We've hit 400 subscribers. Thank you all for that, and everybody who continues to log in and check out BuildBoostDrive. And I will see y'all on the next one. So continue staying safe during the pandemic, and I hope all your projects are going good. And y'all have a good day. Later.